Hello, and welcome to Quiet Science Dreams. This is not a place you need to focus. It's a place you can gently arrive. If your day has been full, if your thoughts are still moving in small circles, you don't need to stop them. Just let them slow, in their own time, like dust settling in still air. Here, we explore science quietly. Not as information to hold on to, but as stories you can rest inside. Tonight's journey is about human evolution, but not as a lesson, not as dates or definitions. Instead, it's a calm unfolding, a long, patient story, told softly, meant to ease your mind toward sleep. You don't need to stay awake for this. You don't need to remember everything. If your attention drifts, that's perfectly fine. The story will keep going, even if you don't. Before we continue, take a moment to notice your body. Notice where it meets the surface beneath you, the weight of your head, the gentle heaviness of your arms, the place where your back relaxes without effort. You might notice your breathing now, not changing it, just noticing. The quiet rise and the slow fall. If you'd like, you can imagine the breath becoming a little longer, not deeper, just slower. Inhale gently through the nose, and exhale through the mouth. Again, slow in, and even slower out. If you enjoy calm science stories like this, designed to help you unwind or fall asleep, you're always welcome to like the video or subscribe to Quiet Science Dreams. It quietly helps others find their way to this same peaceful space. And wherever you're listening from tonight, a city filled with distant sounds, a quiet rural night, or a familiar room where you've rested many times before, you are welcome here. There's nothing you need to do next, nothing to prepare for. As you listen, you might imagine the noise of the world slowly fading, messages waiting until tomorrow, clocks losing their urgency, time stretching, softening, becoming less sharp. What remains is something much older than schedules, something deeper than memory. Time itself. Imagine time loosening its grip even more. Minutes feel wider. Thoughts drift farther apart. The future grows quiet, and the past softens. There is only this gentle moment, stretching and breathing. Nothing demands your attention. Nothing needs a response. You are safe to rest here, suspended between waking and sleep, carried forward by a story that moves slowly, patiently, without hurry, letting everything else fade peacefully into the background now. Tonight, we're not rushing forward. We're drifting backward through millions of years into a story written long before language, a story told not in words, but in bones, in footprints, in the quiet chemistry of living cells. As you listen, your thoughts don't need to work. They can float or fade or simply rest. Your body knows how to sleep. Your mind remembers how to let go. In just a moment, we'll begin our journey, far before cities, before names, before humans themselves. For now, let your body sink a little deeper. Let your breath stay slow. And when you're ready, we'll take the first gentle step into deep time. As you continue listening, there's no need to follow a timeline. No need to imagine dates or numbers. Instead, let your mind drift into deep time. A time so vast that minutes and years no longer matter. We're moving backward now, far beyond memory, far beyond anything a human mind was built to hold all at once. Picture the Earth, long before humans existed, long before cities, before language, before even mammals shaped the land. The planet feels different here. Quieter in some ways, wilder in others. Dense forests stretch across continents. Oceans are warm and shallow. The air carries unfamiliar scents, heavy with moisture and life. For millions of years, reptiles dominate this world. Massive bodies move slowly across land. Others glide through the air on broad wings. The oceans are filled with ancient forms, long-bodied swimmers, silent and immense. This is not a world made for speed. It's a world shaped by size, by patience, by long, steady survival. And beneath all of this, almost unnoticed, small creatures live in the margins. Early mammals are here too. But they are not rulers. They are watchers. They hide in burrows. They move mostly at night. They stay small, quick, careful. Their hearts beat fast. Their bodies stay warm. They nurse their young in quiet places. These traits don't seem powerful yet, but they carry potential. For a very long time, nothing changes dramatically. Evolution, most of the time, moves slowly, almost imperceptibly. Generation after generation passes. Life adapts in tiny steps. Small advantages accumulate, not toward greatness, but toward persistence. And then, something extraordinary happens. Not suddenly, but decisively. An asteroid, traveling through space for millions of years, meets the Earth. The impact reshapes the planet. Firestorms sweep across continents. The sky fills with dust and ash. Sunlight fades. Temperatures drop. Plants struggle. Food chains collapse. And the great reptiles, so perfectly adapted to the old world, begin to disappear. This moment is often described as an ending, but it's also a beginning. In the silence that follows, in the empty spaces left behind, new possibilities emerge. The small mammals survive, not because they were stronger, but because they were flexible. They could hide. They could eat many things. They could endure darkness and cold. As the world slowly recovers, mammals begin to spread. They explore new roles, new shapes, new ways of living. Some return to the trees, others run across open ground. Some grow larger, others remain small. And among them, a particular lineage begins to change in a subtle way. Their hands become more sensitive. Their eyes shift forward. Their brains grow slightly larger. Not for force, but for coordination. These are the earliest steps toward primates. No intention guides this process. No destination waits ahead. Only adaptation, responding to environment, moment by moment, generation by generation. If you imagine this time, it doesn't feel rushed. Millions of years pass like slow breaths. Forests grow and vanish. Seas rise and fall. Species appear and quietly fade away. And through it all, life continues to experiment. Trying, adjusting, persisting. As you rest here in this deep past, there's nothing you need to remember. Just notice the rhythm. Change, followed by stillness. Expansion, followed by balance. This is the tempo that shaped everything, including you. Your body, your nervous system, your need for rest, all trace back to this ancient world. For now, let that thought remain distant and soft. In the next part of our journey, we'll drift gently into the trees, where the first true primates begin to take shape. But there's no hurry. Stay here, in this slow, quiet chapter of Earth's story, where nothing yet knows what it will become. As you continue listening, there is no need to hurry. Nothing here asks for effort or attention. The story moves slowly on its own, and you can simply float alongside it. We are still far back in time now, long before humans, long before familiar shapes filled the world. The planet is warmer, greener, and quieter in a different way. Forests stretch across vast regions, layered and dense, their canopies forming living ceilings of leaves. Sunlight filters down gently, breaking into soft patterns on bark and ground. The air is heavy with moisture, rich with the quiet work of growing things. This is a world shaped by trees. Among the many small mammals living here, some begin to spend more time above the ground. Not because they are drawn upward, but because the trees offer protection. Predators are fewer among the branches, and food is often closer at hand. Life in the trees asks for new skills. Balance becomes essential. Movement must be precise. Every leap requires judgment, every branch a moment of decision. Slowly, bodies begin to change. Hands grow more flexible, fingers lengthen and curl. Feet learn to grip as well as stand. Joints become more mobile, allowing bodies to twist and adjust in midair. Eyes shift forward, bringing overlapping fields of vision. Depth becomes easier to judge. Distance becomes something the brain can measure, not guess. These quiet changes mark the earliest primates. They are small, often no larger than a squirrel. They move cautiously, testing each branch before committing their weight. They pause often, listening, watching, waiting. Inside their skulls, something subtle is happening. Living in the trees rewards awareness. Those who see clearly survive. Those who remember roots and food sources do better. Neural connections strengthen, linking sight with movement, movement with memory. Brains grow, not quickly, but consistently. Life here also encourages proximity. Food appears in clusters, ripening briefly before disappearing. Remembering where and when it appears matters. Primates begin to tolerate one another nearby. Not quite groups yet, but loose gatherings, close enough to notice. Who takes food? Who waits? Who calls out when danger approaches? Communication begins without words. A sudden stillness, a sharp sound, a quick glance held just long enough to warn. These signals carry meaning, even without language. They change behavior. They save lives. Over countless generations, some primates shift into daylight activity. Colors sharpen, details emerge, faces become easier to recognize. Daytime living brings new challenges. Predators can see more easily. So can companions. Social awareness becomes valuable. Who is nearby? Who is watching? Who can be trusted? Brains respond again, expanding networks used for recognition, memory, and prediction. The forest remains calm, but life within it grows more complex. Time continues to move slowly. Millions of years pass without urgency. Species branch, adapt, and quietly fade. There is no plan guiding this process, no future goal, only response to environment, moment by moment, generation by generation. As you rest with this image, notice how unhurried everything feels. Nothing rushes, nothing strains to become something else. These primates do not know what lies ahead. They are not ancestors yet. They are simply living, moving, eating, resting, and surviving. And as you listen now, your own body responds to rhythms shaped in worlds like this. Balance, awareness, gentle attention. At the next part of our journey, the environment will begin to change again. Forests will thin, distances will grow, new challenges will appear. But for now, remain here among leaves and branches, in a time when life learned to look carefully, to remember quietly, and to move with patience. Stay with this feeling a little longer. Imagine the slow sway of branches above, the steady grip of fingers on bark, the pause before each movement. There is no destination here, only presence, only the quiet continuation of life, unfolding without hurry, teaching patience long before patience had a name. Resting in this moment, the world breathes softly, unchanged, complete, and sufficient as it is. When time continues to move slowly without urgency, the world begins to shift again. The change is gradual, quiet, and almost invisible at first. It unfolds across thousands of seasons, altering rainfall patterns, temperatures, and vegetation. Forests that once stretched endlessly now thin and break apart. Trees still grow tall, but space opens between them. Grasslands appear slowly, filling the gaps with light and wind. For the primates living here, this widening landscape brings new challenges. The shelter of continuous canopy fades. Travel requires longer journeys. Exposure increases. Predators can be seen sooner, yet escape becomes harder. Some retreat deeper into remaining forests. Others begin to explore the open ground. Moving across open land changes how bodies respond. Balance shifts, posture adjusts. Seeing farther becomes valuable. At first, upright movement appears only briefly. A pause, a few cautious steps, then back to four limbs. Over time, those moments lengthen. Spines curve subtly. Hips rotate. Legs take more weight. Walking on two legs is not elegant yet, but it works. Hands, no longer needed constantly for support, become free. They carry food, hold infants, gather objects. This does not transform life overnight. Most days remain familiar, eating, resting, watching, waiting. Yet a quiet threshold has been crossed. Longer distances become manageable. Energy is conserved. Movement grows efficient. With distance comes opportunity. New feeding areas, new resources, unfamiliar risks. Groups adjust again, staying closer, sharing attention more often. A warning call carries farther. Cooperation reduces danger. Brains respond quietly, as they always have, increasing capacity for memory, coordination, and shared focus. This is not yet humanity. These beings still climb trees, rest in branches when possible. They move between ground and canopy, adapting as conditions shift. As climates continue to fluctuate, forests expand and retreat. Across countless generations, upright walking feels less strange. It becomes familiar, natural, another option for moving through the world. Nothing here rushes, nothing breaks abruptly. Change settles in quietly. Millions of years pass like slow breaths. Grasslands widen, forests return, then thin again. Through it all, bodies continue to adjust, without intention or plan. There is no destination guiding these shifts, only survival responding to place. As you imagine this in-between world, notice how gentle it feels. The ground stretches outward, the sky opens wider. Movement becomes steadier, awareness broader. This transition prepares the way for journeys that will come later. Tools, fire, stories, shared paths. But none of that is visible yet. For now, there is only adjustment, patience, and balance. Rest here in this widening landscape. Feel the steadiness of slow change, the calm acceptance of bodies learning to move differently. In the next chapter, we will meet the earliest hominins, those who carry these changes further. They begin to walk the world in a new way. But there is no hurry. Stay with this moment, where forest and open land overlap. The future remains quiet and distant. Evolution continues patiently, without awareness of what will follow. Breathing slowly, the planet turns. Life adjusts, rests, and continues. We drift onward together, carried by time itself. Let your breathing stay slow and easy. Notice the quiet space between thoughts. There is nothing to solve, nothing to decide, just this gentle movement forward. The earth changes, and you rest. Trust the patience of deep time. It carries everything carefully, without effort. Remain here a little longer before the story continues onward again. Feel the balance returning to the land and to you. Nothing is required. Nothing is missing. The world unfolds quietly, and you are part of it. Safe, unhurried, and held within this slow-turning moment now. Rest deeply as time continues to move softly on here. As the landscape continues to open, a new kind of primate begins to appear. These beings are still small, still cautious, still deeply connected to the trees. But something about them is different. They spend more time on the ground. Not all the time, not comfortably, but often enough to matter. Their bodies reflect this change. The spine curves more clearly. The pelvis shortens and widens. Legs grow stronger relative to arms. They are learning to walk upright. Not as a constant state, but as a growing habit. This is the beginning of the hominins. They are not human. They do not look like us. Their brains are still small, their faces more projecting, their movements cautious and uneven. Yet their footprints tell a quiet story. Weight shifts from heel to toe. The body balances above the legs. Hands hang free more often. Walking on two legs changes how they interact with the world. Hands can now carry food. They can transport infants more easily. They can gather objects and bring them together. These advantages are modest at first, but over long distances, over many generations, they matter. Bipedal walking also changes how these hominins experience heat. Standing upright exposes less of the body to direct sunlight. More surface area meets the breeze. Bodies cool more efficiently in open environments. Small benefits accumulate. Life remains challenging. Food is scattered. Predators are present. Shelter is limited. These early hominins still climb trees to sleep and escape danger. Their arms remain long. Their fingers curve for gripping branches. They live between two worlds, neither fully arboreal nor fully terrestrial. Fossils from this time are rare and fragmented. A jaw here, a femur there, a partial skull weathered by time. Yet these fragments speak clearly. They show a body in transition. One of the earliest known examples comes from Central Africa. Its skull suggests upright posture, even though the brain remains small. Soon after, similar forms appear in Eastern Africa, each one slightly different, each experimenting with balance and movement. Walking upright is not easy. It places strain on the lower back. It reshapes the pelvis. It complicates childbirth. But despite these costs, the trait persists. It offers flexibility, the ability to travel farther, to see over tall grass, to free the hands for carrying and sharing. Social life begins to adjust again. Groups stay closer together on the ground. Individuals watch one another more carefully. Cooperation becomes increasingly valuable. Shared movement creates shared awareness. Brains do not grow dramatically yet, but behavior begins to change. Learning becomes more important. Watching others, imitating successful movement, remembering safe routes. Childhood lengthens slightly. Care becomes more sustained. These hominins are still vulnerable, but they are adaptable. As climates continue to fluctuate, those who can move efficiently across mixed landscapes survive more often. Step by step, upright walking becomes more familiar, not elegant, not fast, but reliable, and reliability matters. As you imagine these early walkers, notice how gradual everything feels. No sudden transformation, no clear dividing line, just bodies adjusting quietly to new demands. They do not know they are beginning something new. They are not aware of their place in any larger story. They are simply living, eating, moving, resting, raising young. Yet in these ordinary actions, a profound shift is underway, a way of moving that will eventually shape tools, travel, and thought itself. For now, there is no future vision, only the present moment. Feet touching the ground, weight shifting forward, hands free at the sides. In the next chapter, we will follow these hominins further, as their world continues to change, as new species begin to emerge from this quiet experiment in walking upright. But for now, rest here with them, between steps, between breaths, in a world learning, slowly and patiently, how to stand. By now, the world has changed in lasting ways. Open landscapes stretch across eastern Africa, broken by patches of woodland and trees. This is not a place of stability. It is a place of transition, where conditions shift slowly, but persistently. Here, a new group of hominins begins to thrive. They walk upright most of the time, yet they still climb with confidence. Their bodies reveal this dual way of living clearly and unmistakably. These are the Australopithecines. They are small in stature, with long arms and powerful shoulders. Their fingers remain curved, well suited for gripping bark and branches. At the same time, their hips, knees, and feet show clear adaptations for walking on two legs. They live between two worlds. On the ground, they move carefully across open spaces, watching for danger and opportunity. In the trees, they find safety, shade, and places to rest. They do not abandon one world for the other. Instead, they move fluidly between them. One of the most well-known species from this time was discovered in eastern Africa. A partial skeleton, preserved across millions of years, reveals this mixed anatomy in remarkable detail. The pelvis supports upright walking. The knee locks during each step, conserving energy. The foot shows the beginnings of an arch, helping absorb impact. Yet the upper body tells a different story. The arms remain long. The shoulders angle upward. Climbing is still a regular and necessary part of life. This combination is not a mistake. It is an effective solution. Australopithecines expand their options rather than narrowing them. They walk when distance or efficiency matters. They climb when safety is needed. Their brains remain small, not much larger than those of modern apes. But their behavior grows increasingly flexible. They eat a varied diet shaped by availability. Fruits when they can find them. Leaves, seeds, and roots when needed. Occasional insects or small animals add protein. Their teeth reflect this adaptability. Thick enamel protects against hard foods. Strong jaws handle tough plant material. Flexibility becomes their greatest advantage. As climates fluctuate, those who can adjust survive more often. Rigid specialization is risky in an unpredictable world. Social life continues to develop quietly. Groups remain small and familiar. Individuals recognize one another and remember past interactions. Trust and caution both play important roles. Care for the young extends over longer periods. Infants rely on adults for protection and learning. Skills are not taught deliberately, but they are absorbed through watching and imitation. There is attention. There is memory. There is repetition. Evidence of their movement appears not only in bones, but in the landscape itself. At one remarkable site, footprints preserved in ancient volcanic ash capture a moment in time. Multiple individuals walk together across open ground, heel to toe, side by side. The tracks show balance, forward-facing toes, and a clear bipedal gait. These are not just remains. They are behavior recorded directly, a small group moving together millions of years ago. Australopithecines do not make tools as we understand them. They do not control fire. They do not deliberately shape stone. Yet they prepare the conditions for everything that follows. Upright walking frees the hands. Social awareness deepens. Bodies become efficient travelers across mixed landscapes. They are not our reflection, but they are undeniably part of our lineage. As you imagine them moving through this world, notice how natural their rhythm feels. Walking, climbing, resting, always adjusting. They are not striving toward humanity. They are responding to the present moment. Each step answers an immediate need. Each choice reflects the environment around them. In the next chapter, a subtle shift will begin again. Brains will grow slightly larger. Hands will become more precise. Stone will begin to change shape. But for now, remain here. With these small upright walkers, balanced between ground and tree, between what has been and what is yet to come. Living in a world that is still becoming. As time continues its patient flow, another subtle change begins to appear. Bodies are still modest in size, and the world remains demanding. Yet something new is emerging in the way these hominins think and act. Their hands, already freed by upright walking, begin to show greater control. Fingers curl and straighten with intention. Thumbs press more firmly against fingertips. Movements become precise enough to shape, strike, and hold. Stone enters the story. At first, rocks are simply picked up and used as they are. A sharp edge cuts skin from meat. A heavy piece cracks bone. There is no design yet, only recognition. But recognition is powerful. Over time, some individuals begin to strike stone against stone. A blow flakes off a sharp edge. Another strike refines it. The result is simple, uneven, and effective. These are the earliest tools. They are not beautiful. They are not standardized, but they work. With tools, access to food changes. Meat can be cut more easily. Marrow can be reached inside bones. Tough plants can be processed. Diets become richer and more reliable. Energy matters. With better nutrition, bodies are supported through harder seasons. Children survive more often. Adults recover more quickly. Small advantages accumulate again. Brains respond slowly. They do not leap forward in size, but they reorganize. Planning becomes useful. Remembering successful techniques matters. Watching others closely brings reward. Learning deepens. Tool-making is not instinctive. It must be observed. It must be practiced. It must be remembered. This changes social life. Individuals stay closer together. Young watch elders more carefully. Skill becomes something that can be shared, not just inherited. The world still demands constant attention. Predators remain dangerous. Shelter is temporary. Life is fragile. But there is a new layer now. The environment is no longer only endured. It is shaped slightly by intention. These early members of the genus Homo are still very different from us. Their brains are smaller. Their bodies are robust. Their lives are short. Yet their behavior shows a quiet shift. They are beginning to imagine outcomes, to act not only in response, but in preparation. A stone is struck not because it must be, but because it might be useful later. This sense of possibility marks a turning point. Movement across the landscape expands. Groups travel farther. Familiar territories widen. Knowledge of places deepens. Hands grow more skilled. Wrists strengthen. Grip improves. The body adapts again, always slowly. With tools comes cooperation. Meat is shared. Tasks are divided informally. Attention to one another increases. Communication remains simple, but meaning grows. A gesture, a sound, a glance held a moment longer. Around these early tool-makers, the world continues to change. Climates shift, resources fluctuate, challenges persist, yet adaptability increases. These hominins do not know they are inventing technology. They are solving problems in front of them. Survival remains the goal. As you rest with this moment, imagine the sound of stone striking stone. A brief, sharp note, then silence. A new edge catches the light. Nothing dramatic happens. No celebration follows. Life continues. But something irreversible has begun. In the next chapter, this quiet innovation will travel with them. Bodies will grow taller. Journeys will lengthen. Fire will eventually join the story. For now, remain here. With simple tools, with careful hands, with minds learning, slowly, that the world can be changed, just a little, by choice. Stay present with their quiet focus and steady breathing as daylight fades. Feel the patience in each movement, the calm repetition of a practice. No rush guides their actions, only need and memory. The ground is familiar, the sky wide, the night approaching. Tools rest nearby, ready without urgency. In this gentle pause, learning settles deeply. Tomorrow will resemble today, and yet be slightly different. This is how change endures. Through countless small moments carried forward by care, attention, and the simple courage to try again. Quietly, time continues, holding them, the land and possibilities together. Unhurried, attentive, enduring, for generations ahead. Over long stretches of time, the quiet changes continue to accumulate. Bodies shift again, slowly settling into a new balance shaped by travel, endurance, and distance. From earlier, hominins emerge as a form built not just to survive, but to move. This is Homo erectus. The body is taller now, with longer legs and a more upright posture. Arms shorten slightly, no longer designed mainly for climbing. The torso narrows, aligning weight efficiently over the hips and legs. Every part of this body supports motion. Walking becomes smoother and less costly. Running appears not for sudden bursts of speed, but for sustained effort. Long distances can be covered steadily, hour after hour, without collapse. The world begins to feel larger. Homo erectus does not remain confined to one small region. Groups travel across valleys, plains, and changing environments. Seasonal movement becomes a regular pattern rather than an exception. With movement comes knowledge. Paths are remembered across years. Water sources are revisited. Shelter locations are recalled and reused. Landmarks begin to matter. A bend in a river, a distant ridge, a familiar cluster of trees. Brains grow larger, though still smaller than those of modern humans. More capacity is devoted to planning, memory, and coordination. The mind begins to track not only what is present, but what lies ahead. Tools remain simple, yet they become more consistent. Stone shapes repeat across time and across wide regions. Edges are formed in familiar ways. Patterns appear that can be recognized and reproduced. A hand axe takes shape, balanced, symmetrical, usable from many angles. These tools are not created once and forgotten. They are remembered, recreated, passed along from one individual to another. This suggests learning that extends beyond a single moment. Fire gradually enters daily life. At first, flames are encountered by chance. A lightning strike ignites dry grass. A fallen tree burns through the night. Fire is watched carefully, respected, feared. Eventually, it is carried, protected, fed with fuel. Fire changes everything. Food is cooked, textures soften, energy becomes easier to absorb. Less effort is spent chewing, more energy becomes available for growth and repair. Night becomes less dangerous. Predators keep their distance. Warmth gathers bodies together. Social life deepens. Evenings extend beyond daylight. Gestures linger. Sounds repeat with intention. Shared attention grows stronger. Homo erectus depends on cooperation. Food is shared more reliably. Tasks are divided informally. Attention to one another increases survival. Children remain dependent longer. Learning stretches across many years. Experience accumulates within the group rather than disappearing with each generation. This species spreads beyond Africa. Step by step, populations move into new regions, different climates, different challenges, cold nights, dense forests, open grasslands. Adaptation continues, guided by necessity rather than design. Despite great distances, strong similarities remain. Bodies follow the same basic plan. Tools look familiar across continents. This suggests connection. Shared knowledge carried forward by movement. Homo erectus persists for hundreds of thousands of years, longer than any other human species. Their way of life is stable, resilient, and effective. They are not hurried. They are persistent. As you imagine these travelers, notice the steady rhythm of their lives. Walking, stopping, observing. Fire glows softly as darkness settles. Tools rest nearby. The land stretches ahead, unknown, yet navigable. They do not know they are pioneers. They respond to need, memory, and opportunity. Distance is no longer a barrier. It becomes a possibility. In the next chapter, this long journey will continue to reshape the mind. Brains will grow again. Communication will deepen. New kinds of humans will begin to appear. But for now, remain here, with bodies built for travel, with minds learning the shape of the world, with footsteps carrying a story far beyond its beginning. The earth turns slowly beneath them. Paths unfold with each step. Time continues its patient work, guiding life forward without haste, one journey at a time. Steady, unbroken, across landscapes that remember their passing long after they have moved on. As time moves forward, the human story enters another threshold, one shaped less by bodies alone and more by minds, memory, and shared understanding. Thinking begins to reshape survival, relationships, and the future itself. Brains grow again, slowly but unmistakably. They add folds, connections, and capacity. This allows longer planning, deeper learning, and richer social awareness. Childhood stretches further. Time opens for teaching, for imitation, and for experience to accumulate across years. Groups become more cohesive. They rely on cooperation, not only for food and safety, but for knowledge. Skills pass from older hands to younger eyes. Behavior begins to extend beyond instinct. Bonds strengthen quietly across generations. Communication remains simple, yet meaning deepens. Gesture, tone, rhythm, shared attention. These carry trust, coordination, and emotional connection. All of this emerges long before full language appears. Minds prepare for symbols, stories, and abstract thought still to come. Different human forms appear across regions. They adapt to varied climates, landscapes, and challenges. Lineages branch. Some live alongside one another. Some meet. Some mix. Some fade. Evolution reveals itself as braided and shared. Among these humans, forms with increasingly modern traits emerge. Lighter frames, more flexible minds, heightened curiosity. They are capable of innovation and reflection. Yet they remain vulnerable to environment, chance, and one another's choices. Symbolic behavior expands. Marks appear on stone. Pigment touches skin. Objects are chosen for meaning, identity, memory, belonging. Ideas begin to travel beyond individuals. Culture anchors itself within communities and across generations. Art and ritual emerge gradually, not as decoration, but as tools. Tools for remembering, for teaching, for connecting. They give form to emotion and belief. They strengthen cooperation during uncertainty, loss, and change. Migration accelerates. People move into unfamiliar territories. New animals, new plants, new seasons. Each demands learning, flexibility, and resilience. Innovation moves forward, while tradition preserves cohesion, safety, and identity. Encounters with other humans shape this journey. Meetings, competition, cooperation, interbreeding, genetic threads weave together. Traces remain within living populations today. Evidence of closeness, exchange, and shared ancestry. Eventually, one lineage becomes dominant. Not through superiority alone, but through flexibility, communication, and cumulative culture. Ideas spread faster than genes. Knowledge builds upon itself. Tools refine, techniques improve, insights accumulate. Momentum grows. Evolution moves increasingly into learning, memory, and choice. Humans become storytellers. Narrative shares lessons, warns of danger, explains mystery, imagines futures. Meaning shapes behavior more than force. Groups align around values, purpose, and hope. Survival depends less on physical change, more on cooperation, foresight, restraint. Instinct balances with empathy, competition with care, innovation with responsibility. The pace of change quickens. Millennia compress into generations. Minds evolved for small groups must adapt again. They navigate complexity, manage emotion, and maintain trust within expanding communities. Yet beneath it all, ancient needs remain. Connection, rest, safety, meaning. Modern lives echo deep pasts, forests, fires, footsteps, shared journeys. As you rest with this moment, consider the countless lives that contributed quietly, shaping bodies, minds, and cultures. No single hero. Only continuity, effort, belonging. The story has not ended. It has paused. Awareness deepens. Choices matter. Futures remain open. Care, reflection, responsibility. Humanity continues learning, changing, and responding within a living world. In the next chapter, we will slow again. We will watch memory, emotion, and connection shape inner worlds, inviting rest, reflection, and calm. As the long story settles gently into the quiet rhythms of sleep now, as the story slows now, the long journey of human becoming begins to rest. The ground beneath our footsteps grows quiet. The vast arc of time softens into breath and stillness. You are here, carried by millions of lives that moved, learned, shared, and endured. Not as heroes, but as ordinary beings responding to weather, hunger, fear, curiosity, and care. Their patience lives in your body, in the rhythms of walking, resting, and noticing. Tonight, there is nothing left to solve. The future does not need planning. Let thoughts loosen, as if set gently on water. Notice the simple weight of your breath, the steady rise and fall that connects you to every sleeper who came before. Imagine a small fire glowing softly, not to illuminate answers, but to warm the circle. Faces relax, hands rest, stories fade into feeling. Feeling becomes calm. This is how the day ends in the body. Evolution does not rush. It waits with you, teaching that change can be gentle, that rest is part of becoming, that life continues even as you sleep. As the night deepens, allow the long memory of the earth to hold you. Forests and fires, rivers and roads, footsteps and stars, all settling together. The past is not behind you. It breathes quietly within you. If dreams come, let them wander without direction. If silence arrives, welcome it. There is nothing you must carry forward right now. The story continues without effort. Tomorrow will arrive in its own time. For this moment, rest belongs to you. Good night, gentle listener. May sleep arrive easily. May you wake carrying the quiet strength of deep time. Stay with the slow turning of the world, where nothing asks for proof, where everything is allowed to be. Muscles soften, thoughts dim, the night gathers you safely. With each breath, the day releases. The body remembers how to trust. This is enough. You are enough. Let the edges blur. Drift gently toward rest. Countless mornings have followed nights like this. Countless kindnesses have carried life forward. Sleep now, wrapped in patience, held by a world that turns softly, without hurry, until light returns, refreshed, simple, and kind. Nothing else is required tonight. Rest deeply, breathe slowly, allow tomorrow to arrive when it is ready, carrying calm, clarity, warmth, and quiet gratitude with you. Always. Onward.